I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Don't go through a breakup alone. Click on the link in the description below to get a one-on-one coaching with me, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about other factors that can lead to a breakup. So the reason that I wanted to do this video is because I wanted to share with you guys that there are a lot of other factors that influence a breakup. And as I explain in a lot of my videos, every relationship is unique because we are looking at two different individuals with their own set of life experiences, their own set of beliefs, and there's just so much that goes into being a unique individual. And so you have two unique individuals coming together trying to make a relationship work. And there are so many factors that can cause a relationship to fail or not work out. And those are a lot of the things that I look at when I'm trying to help you reconcile with your ex in your individual situation. Because, obviously with the videos I can give you a lot of general ideas to maybe for you guys to put together and piece together for what's working for you. But when you work with me, obviously I'm going to take a look at your own relationship, your own personal life, your partner's personal life, and figure out what went wrong and what are your best options to repairing that relationship and making it work. Because it's not just about getting an ex back, it's about getting them back and then having a great relationship with them again. So here are just some of the factors that could lead to a breakup. And then I've got a good email that shares a factor that not many people would really consider. You have obviously different religious beliefs, difference in goals, willingness to stay committed, issues with age, alcohol abuse, different deal breakers. You guys have certain things that are important to you and you're not willing to, give up on and not willing to compromise with. Ability to communicate, desire to communicate, trauma history, family dynamics, ability to engage and relate with others. We don't live on a deserted island, and other people do influence our relationships, and unless you have a partner or you yourself can have a very firm boundary around yourself and other people, you're going to be influenced. And some people are more enmeshed with their family members than others. You might see families that cannot separate and make their own decisions. That's going to have a huge influence on your relationship as well. Attachment styles, attachment trauma, making your partner feel abandoned, any kind of sexual abuse. All these factors play a huge influence on yours and your partner's ability to, create a good relationship and make it work. So, I have an email here from somebody that is dealing with a difficult breakup, and there's a major family issue that is the root of this breakup. We have a woman that's in her early 30s dating a guy who's just a few years younger, and they were together for over 2 years. When I asked her about his family, she told me he didn't have a good relationship with his parents. They separated when he was young, and he didn't see his dad again until his mid-20s. So there's major abandonment issues there. And, a guy growing up with without their father is, so tough. Obviously, you could also grow up with a father that is not a good father, and that can make it equally tough for different reasons. But when you don't have the influence of both parents as positive role models, it's going to play a huge factor in your ability to relate with others, to feel love, to know what love is, to give love, and to relate to people of your sex and the opposite sex. All of these things are huge. And this is really critical what she says here. She says, his mother was never there for him growing up, and to be honest, isn't a very nice person. His older sister left home when he was 16 to a refuge to get away from their mother. That's awful. Honestly, I felt so bad when I read this one because I can relate, you know. I've been working locally, you know, for close to 20 years doing behavior analysis with children and adults and families and counseling. And, you know, it's just heartbreaking to see this happen so often, and it's so common. You guys have no idea. You have no idea how many kids I've worked with over the years that have never met their dad. Like, some of them have never even seen a picture of him. And that just, it's sickening, really. Like, I don't understand how you could have a child and not want to be a part of their life every single day, or damn near close to it. But when you've grown up being abused, neglected, abandoned, you don't know how to relate to other people. I mean, it just makes it so difficult. So you have a situation here where this guy, he had a mom that was maybe not physically abusive, but certainly emotionally abusive, neglectful. He doesn't know what love is. How could he possibly know? He didn't even know his dad until his mid-20s. I mean, that's just terrible. That's why I put out so much content for you guys, honestly, is because I want to give you guys the information to better your lives. And whether you work with me or not personally, I want to help make the world a better place. And I understand that there's been a stigma on mental health for so many years in society that if you went to a therapist, you were crazy. Well, that's simply not the case. The matter of the fact is, if you go to therapy, you're going to wind up being a lot more stronger and healthier emotionally than most other people, because you're dealing with your issues like an adult. You're working through them with a professional, and you're going to come out on top and feel so much better. Truly, guys. I see kids all the time grow up without their families, and it makes me sick. So that's why I put out these videos for you guys to see and really make real changes in your life. So when you do get married and you do find somebody, you can have additional skills and ideas on how to make it work. So you can be more likely to keep your family together, and or learn how to communicate with your kids better. Because, you know, that's the real issue is with mental health, is that if you don't know how to communicate with your child and be there for them and love them unconditionally, you're going to see a lot of symptoms when they become an adult. And I really believe that a lot of mental illness stems from our inability to care for and connect emotionally with our own kids. And that when we don't know how to be there for them, we don't know how to love them and give them unconditional love and guidance, so they feel like just overwhelming amounts of love and support in their childhood, you're going to see symptoms in their adult life. Abandonment, anxiety, depression. I really believe that that's the root of it. And so hopefully a lot of you guys will take away the positive stuff and put it into your own lives here, and not just focus on just getting an ex back, because that's really a basic thing. I really want you to have so much more than that. So this situation, actually, I felt really, really sad when I was reading this one. Let me go on here. She said that when he was 16, he went to live with his maternal grandfather, and he still doesn't get along with his mother. So this poor kid, who's an adult now, but imagine when he was a kid, he had nobody taking care of him and giving him love until he was 16 years old. He was being abused, neglected, abandoned, mistreated all of his life. So what does love feel like for him? Love feels like abandonment. Neglect feels like it hurts. It doesn't feel good. So this guy, well, let me go on here. But he was 16 years old when he was finally taken care of by his grandfather. Out of the blue, he told me he doesn't feel the same anymore. And the next day, he moved out. There were no warning signs other than he seemed quite fed up maybe 5 days before he left. After 7 weeks of wondering why he left me, he admitted he had been depressed ever since he found out his grandfather was dying. He was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, but only in the last 6 months has he really gotten bad, and he doesn't have long left. So, there you have it, guys. I mean, this poor guy, the only person that's ever been there for him is his grandfather, and now he's dying. And he's going to abandon him. He's going to be abandoned again. And I know you might be thinking, well, he's not doing it on purpose. Of course he's not doing it on purpose. He's ill. And my point is that from that young child perspective, when he was that young child, and somewhere deep down he is still that young child, he's abandoned again. The one person he can count on is not going to be there for him anymore. Terrible, terrible. Terrible feeling. Very scary. Very sad. That's depressing. Wouldn't that be depressing to you if you can put yourself in that world? And you really need to. You know, putting yourself in his shoes would just be a terrible feeling. I mean, your whole world, your whole stability, your whole rock is not going to be there for you. And it shows you how fragile relationships are. And there's going to be so many unresolved issues that come up because of Grandpa passing, which he hasn't yet, but, you know, like she said, it's inevitable. He says that he is working all hours so he doesn't have to think about his grandfather. He comes home late at night and goes to bed, and then he does the same thing the next day. He doesn't see anybody and stays in his room at his granddad's house. Look at that. Look at how sad that is. He's working tremendous amounts of hours because he doesn't know how to cope. He doesn't know how to soothe himself of this pain, of this anxiety, of this loss that's coming. And he knows it's coming. It's only a distraction. And I know how hard it is, but he's going to have to deal with it. He can't keep sweeping this under the rug forever. At first I was really upset because I didn't understand why he left me. He would text me a lot. He would always reply and never got mad. He was just really nice, saying he was sorry. When he admitted he was depressed, I realized maybe he still cares about me but can't handle a relationship now. So I calmed down and told him I'm always here if he needs me and he isn't alone. So this poor guy is depressed. He's about to lose the one person in his life that's always been there for him, and that's depressing. And maybe he knows he can't do it. I mean, it sounds like he's being kind to her, and he still cares about her, so maybe he just can't do it. And these are the types of things that come up in life. And it's so important to choose the right partner. And you know what drives me crazy as your coach, to be honest? One of the lowest viewed videos that I have is choosing the right partner. And am I ready for a relationship? You guys, I put this out there for you. I know to look for those things. You need to know to look for those things. So please write those videos down. Choosing the right partner, I think is what it's called. And am I ready for a relationship? You really want to consider that before you factor in if you're ready to get into another relationship. And people that have a lot of unresolved abuse and trauma, neglect, that they have all those unresolved issues, they're going to be a lot more likely to just self-destruct, to not be able to stay committed in a relationship, and to wind up abandoning you down the road. So you really want to make sure that you have a partner that's put together well. I know a lot of you guys don't understand this because you're not in the mental health field, so that's why I'm explaining it to you. But it's really, really important that you have a partner that's dealt with their issues. If they grew up in a family where they had, you know, attachment traumas, or they have an insecure attachment style. You know, if they had a secure relationship with their caregivers, and it's really, really a secure relationship, they're going to be a lot more likely to handle stuff like this when it comes along in life. But as we can see by this poor guy, what he's been through, the one person that's been there for him is about to abandon him. And it's really sad. It's really tough. So hopefully he will work on himself and deal with his past and his issues and get help for his depression, because it's a real issue. And anxiety and depression affects probably close to 50% of the people out there. Ironically, or maybe not so ironically, about 50% of the people have an insecure attachment style. Which goes back to kind of what I was talking about earlier, about how our relationship with our caregivers really leads to mental health issues. So you can see the correlation there, guys. Put it together and you can see the pattern. You know, as far as this situation goes, I would, you know, be there for him as much as you could possibly be without, you know, torturing yourself or putting yourself at harm's way, so to speak. In other words, I don't want you to give more than you can. Don't reach out for them more than you can afford to lose, because he might not be able to fix the issues. He might not want to work things out with you, and you'll just be putting on your life on hold, which you don't want to do also. So there are lots of factors that come into play with not only breakups but also relationships, and this, you know, is a good example of one of those things that is going to come up in life, because I can promise you we don't get out of life alive, right? And we will lose our caregivers one day. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation, and when that happens, a lot of issues are going to come up. So if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net, and sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. If you like the video, put a like on there, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I do post videos 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.